starting things off here on University. Straight into the action, not even going to start in the lobby. The loading speed on those solid-state hard drives. It's lightning fast. Beautiful. Here we go. As expected, it's going to be Yaki coming in with the Pharah. But God Sejong
was actually starting, not Alpha E, so mistaken graphic earlier.
And we'll be starting in here. Edison already getting taken down. Will be res back in, but Ion will fall just as swiftly. So no Reinhardt up front here for the side of GC Busan. Space, however, losing out on their Hanzo and their Zenyatta, as Edison just snipes them down. Cap getting ready to come through for MVP, but will be halted here by GC as they push in onto the point.
Edison controlling this zone here, forcing the tanks away, trying to actually take some pot shots at Fuse. They will end up winning this trade here. In terms of Zari Energy, they're a little bit behind, but that's going to be insignificant with the amount of delay tactics you can use with the Pharah composition. What held true yesterday was the ability to control choke points with the Pharah, so what God Sejong is not doing, which we saw yesterday from Ivy, is controlling this left side doorway here. He's actually playing it safer, he's playing it back, which means that MVP Space is actually already halfway to the point here to look for a contest. So not able to capitalize as much, but Edison grabs that pick, so that's going to be a good start.
Yeah, great snipes coming out from him. Will force the res from Fuse. Storm arrows out, just spamming away, looking for a target. Not going to be finding too much, but you can see that Dragon Strike's going to be ready to go. Could honestly just throw that out and likely build up another one before Ritz even has the Graviton Surge, unless he starts popping off with the energy. But we'll have to see another kill, another double kill coming through as he just kills the Hanzo and the Zenyatta yet again. Dragon Strike is used. He can build up another one. An MVP Space struggling to get onto the point. You can see these daggers coming through.
And Bianca used his Graviton. MVP Space had the lead in terms of Graviton because GC Busan and Wave had such an early advantage that Ritz didn't really need to be into the fray. As you say, by the time Ritz does have that Graviton, Edison will have another Dragon Strike. He used his Dragon Strike to make sure the combo couldn't really occur there. No one could actually capitalize on that grab surge. And now this is almost completely over here for GC Busan Wave. They've got this totally controlled.
Oh, Barrage coming in. Yaki gonna wait for that shield to expire. Tries to put that shot into the back of the head, but two members dead. Atune manages to take down God Sejong, but Yaki will fall again, and Edison finds another one. Now looking for Fuse. Seems like rework Hanzo was made for this guy. He is just destroying MVP Space.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him play Hanzo a few times in the past. This is the first time we're seeing it on the new patch, and so therefore, you know, no one could have predicted how well he was going to play. Rumor had it they were playing really poorly in scrims on the new patch, but does not seem to be so here, at least on this first map. Here's the Graviton and the combo.
Going through. Dragon Strike cutting its way down. God Sejong will fall. Barrage out from Yaki finds Daydream, but the damage is done. It's going to be a 2 for 3 here. Say that as Bianca does manage to find another kill. The res coming through, but OT starting to take away. Nearly expired. Good bubble there. Coming through as they just burn straight through Ion, and MVP Space might actually be able to convert that fight into a flip on the point.
They do, but they used everything except the Shatter here to do it. So still a massive advantage in terms of support ultimates for GC Busan Wave, and Ritz is halfway to another Graviton because he was able to stay alive so long in that fight and build that charge. You don't need to worry about staggered respawns when you have the 99-0 flip against you because you know you have that extra time. It's worth it to keep fighting and build the Graviton. That's exactly what he did. LeBron's looking for a Shatter here, but the positioning is pretty good for Ion. It's going to be tough to actually land that.
Gets it down, gets a couple members going through there. Ion gonna fall, but it's still gonna be a trade-up because Edison is just hard carrying GC Busan. Another double kill going over to him as he gets rid of that pharmacy composition. Still spamming away, will force the Transcendence out from Undyne. The rest comes in onto Ion to bring him back into the fight. Dragon Strike going straight up the middle, pushing them off the point. The flip getting ready to come back through. Edison gonna go low, spamming away, but Undyne clips him from the side, but they get the flip. Overtime ticking away, Graviton Surge in from Ritz, has them locked up. The right clicks coming through, the swings on the hammer. They just keep wiping MVP Space one after the other as they push in. Pharmacy Comp up into the air, trying to buy some time desperately, but not sure if they're gonna be able to pull this one off. Fuse will fall, Yaki alone, nearly has a barrage. Will he get to use it? Might just actually be able to hold this as MVP looks to get another flip in.
Yeah, they were gonna grab it. Very, very hard fought here, and Yaki gets to hold the barrage. The lack of Edison there and the lack of a res to keep him alive actually really hurt them big time because that's their main source of DPS outside of God Sejong, who's actually been underperforming on the Pharah. It's been Edison who's winning these fights, not God Sejong. It's not the Pharah matchup that's going badly for MVP Space. It's just that Yaki's been found by Edison's Storm Arrows so many times, which is a big issue. But now that they have positional advantage, it's tough for Edison to get into range to make that happen.
Oh, the barrage coming down. Yaki managed to find Ion right after that res comes through onto Fielder, so I have to wait a little bit longer, and suddenly the pressure is on a bit here for GC Busan Wave to try to get this flip through. Reinhardt ultimates pretty much matched, and it seems like all four supports should have their ults ready to go.
Yeah, this is going to be a really rough retake for GC Busan Wave. They have the barrage, but nothing to pair with it. The Shatter's almost ready, but they just can't get into position. He has to walk around this corner. Really good position for Oberon. Trying to force him to drop his shield so he can land it, but look at how far back everyone's playing.
Shadow ready to go, throws that one down, but doesn't really find much. But God say Chung finds a perfect angle, gets rid of Attune and Undyne. Now Bianca gonna go down. You see Busan Wave looking to get this flip before the OT comes through. Should be able to do so. Fuse will fall. That's the team wipe, and that should just about be University in the bag.
It is. There you go. Overtime ticks down, and you know it was straight up a combination there between God Sejong, who flanked, and the Shatter coming through from Oberon. So Oberon forces, or sorry, not Oberon, excuse me, the main tank on the side of GC Busan Wave, Ion. So Ion sets up trying to see where Oberon's going to drop his shield. And everyone was playing super far back into that little choke point, into that little room on the right side from their perspective. And so this sneak around there coming through from God Sejong was really smart, because when the Shatter came down, it didn't hit everyone, but it was able to disrupt enough and force the shield to be angled in such a way that he could actually go behind the shield to hit his barrage. So the barrage actually was really what turned that fight there.
Yeah. It's a good clutch moment there from God Sejong. Had two great barrages in that fight, but that was the big one. That was the cataclysmic one that helped flip that point back over and get them the first win. So 1-0 coming in as we move into Gardens. GC Busan going to be looking for the 2-0 here. Bianca already getting chunked out quite a bit in that mech. And of course, it's going to be more Pharah battles.
Yep. Attune, though, switches over to the Widow to have that better matchup here at range.
Oh, one more body shot. Yaki lines it up. Double kill going through the him as he gets rid of the DPS members. And Attune finds the shot in onto Fielder. Third one. No supports available, and MVP Space will be able to get this initial cap as they peel back.
Now there's three different ways you can approach the secondary DPS. You can have the McCree, the Hanzo, or the Widow. All three have special properties. The Hanzo is good for combos and has better tank bursting. The Widow's got more range, and the McCree's the all-rounder that's squishy, right? Difficult to defend. He needs to be moving forward with your team. So they end up going with the Widow here, and they get those long-range pot shots off, which helps Yaki finish off God Sejong here. So he wins the Pharah matchup again. And that's just continuing to be a problem here for GC Busan Wave, who can't quite get through these archways.
Yaki just continuously landing these body shots onto God Sejong, who is considerably further behind as far as the ult charge is concerned. Attune up with yet another kill as he gets rid of Fielder for the second time. Zap's coming in, Edison in a bad spot, has to jump over the wall, but you can see GC Busan Wave, they're being contained back towards the spawn. MVP Space are allowed to play so far forward right now.
Yeah, Attune has this Impresight as well, which gives them further information about where their next approach is going to be, so they're already scouted out, and this means that, as you can see, Yaki's already taking pot shots around the corner. This is a really nice angle for the Pharah to then shoot and then hide, shoot and then hide. He's going to look for the 1v1 here now, but they're even forcing boosts to be used from D.Va to get into the sky, so totally controlled by MVP Space at the moment. Ult advantage as well.
Oh man, Ion comes around the corner, gets ripped apart. MVP Space still a multitude of ultimates to use here as the Valkyrie comes in from Fuse. Shots coming down, Yaki not finding those hits this time around. Self-destruct going to be used by Ritz just to try to buy some space. Does so as Yaki gets taken down, but actually the 1-for-1 there, Fielder will get rezzed back in. Dragon Strike out from Edison, not going to be finding a whole lot of anything, and Undyne uses the Transcendence to keep everybody topped up. Now God Sejong pushing forward, has the barrage ready to go. He's looking for Attune. It's just too slippery there with that Widowmaker, so he'll come back right over to the point and try to help his team get this cap. Ion, Primal Rage comes in, barrage out from Yaki, but he's so far away, he's not going to get that much meaningful damage in. But as I say that, Oberon's able to finish off Daydream, so now no supports available for GC Busan Wave. They're going to have to reset. Honestly, this might just be 100-0.
Looks that way. A accidental suicide there as well, going to help reset this push. And I think with the overtime ticking down, MVP Space is going to tie us up here.
Yeah, the Moira trying to go for it. They managed to get the tag in, but immediately gets booped to death by the D.Va. The Lucio as well going to fall. And that's going to be 100-0. A great turnaround here from MVP Space in the second round of Oasis, taking us all the way to City Center.
The drawback of Edison's Hanzo here was that they were never able to control the archway. They were able to get onto the point. And Hanzo is not as ranged as a Widowmaker. And, you know, it's tough to use the Hanzo to burst down tanks when you're getting chunked to half health and your tanks are taking that extra damage while you're feeding ult charge to Yaki in this case on the Pharah when you can't get in. So the Hanzo pick that looked fantastic on University because he was always in position to do continuous damage onto the tanks, the Zarya trades, and also occasionally even take out Yaki in the sky. He just wasn't able to really be valuable on this Hanzo on that second point. So, you know, Edison being the boon of the team and I guess the Achilles heel here when they could not control the point. Gonna stick with it here, as we will see Attune once again on the Widow.
Yeah, this is working very well for them there on Garden. We'll see how it's going to manage on City Center. Shots coming through. Edison still holding through with the Hanzo, taking a couple hits there from the Rockets, but will get healed back up. Yaki falling low, but be safe for the moment. Sonic Arrow not going to spot out a whole lot of anything. Storm Arrow's coming through. Edison from the side, spotting Attune, takes the shots. The Rocket follow-up as he gets distracted. Yaki finds the kill, dunks him into the grave.
Really good pocketing here by Fuse as well to help him win the Sparrow matchup. They're going to get the first point again, and Edison's going to make a switch. It's about time, I think. At this point, you struggled going into the archways on the previous map, and this one's even tougher to actually enter with the Hanzo. If you want to flank, you're going to get caught by Attune because he's got full line of sight advantage now, which is, you can't really win against a top Widow with the Hanzo at range. If you have help, sure, with a Pharah maybe distracting, but in the 1v1 you can't win it. So he's now trying to counter Attune and give some more mobility to this composition so they can break through. A good idea. Let's see how it works in practice.
Yaki's still hovering above here, gets a nice direct shot in on a Ritz, but not going to be popping him out of the mech yet for the barrage. He's going to be ready to go here. Shots coming through. Godside Junk taken out by Attune, and Bianca finishes off Ion.
Yaki's trying,
but still MVP space manages to hold for the moment, but now no support's available to trade back in onto Daydream, so GC Busan going to be in the same predicament as Ritz goes low and will get finished off. Attune up in his face, just going to spray him down with the machine gun, and that's going to be Ritz jumping off the side of the map, so MVP still maintaining control, now up over 50%. The pocket coming through, the stick hits! It's going to be Fuse, trying to save Undyne's life and loses his own in trade.
Sejong switching over to the Genji here as well. Again, mobility is what GC Busan Wave is trying to use here because they're running out of time.
Manages to get rid of Yaki, now Transcendence in from fielders, they push in onto the point, trying to get this flip, they get it halfway, but now going to be contested by MVP Space, who have only lost one member. The Primal Rage is going to be popped over on going forward, but the Scored Orb, and he's taking quite a bit of damage, so he will go ahead and bail out, but GC Busan,
they just don't have very many tools with this comp to get in against the Pharah Widow. And Sejong's maybe not even going to have a Dragon Blade ever this game because he switched so late. They're using the support ultimates early. I mean, the Valkyrie's out now as well. They're even going to use this self-destruct to try to open this up. They get Yaki.
Yeah, the barrage went through. He killed Edison, but loses his life. Transcendence out from Undyne to keep himself alive as well as the Valkyrie there from Fuse. Res will be used. Yaki's back in the fight, and now it's into OT. 99-0 right now. GC Busan Wave need to get this flip right here, right now, if they want to win Oasis.
It has to be now. I think that MVP Space is considering giving it because they have such a meter advantage here in terms of the control meter. So
okay, flip does come through.
Yeah, they can just sit back and build up ultimates and go for a retake. The scariest part is the Transcendence and the Blade are almost up, but if they can bait those out, they've got plenty of time to do so. Then they'll have a massive ult advantage. Attune's going to make the switch to Brigitte to counter this Genji. It's a very smart choice. Can really shut down the Dragon Blade as well, or potentially even bait it out because
you got to go for it.
He wants it.
Come on. I want to see it, Edison.
Too far.
I want to see it, Edison. He's just going to go into the back. Forces out the full spot there onto Undyne and takes him out. GC Busan going to maintain control here. Edison's got a great angle there on the flank. Hoping to rip down Bianca, but they cannot finish him off. Undyne going to get res back in by Fuse.
Now, Sejong needs to be careful about where Brigitte is at all times. Here's the Blade. He's looking for him right away.
Yeah, Blade into the back. Stunned up. Not getting any kills yet. Deflection going to be used, and Yaki comes in from behind, puts the rocket to the back of the head, and gets rid of the Genji. Dragon Blade not doing a damn thing here for the side of GC Busan Wave as they try to maintain control. Barrage in from Yaki, looking to take them down. The smattering of hits on the Ion actually finishes them off in midair. And now MVP Space are looking to get the flip. They'll go ahead, they'll knock Ritz out, they'll take him down. No remech coming through for him. Mercy floating around like a pesky mosquito. Will get taken out as Yaki finds the point blank shot. The flip comes in and out.
Yeah. Yaki showing us the defensive Brigitte for the time being, with the Tomb flexing over to the Hanzo. And they will run the triple tank, so Yaki will play as a tank here. Alpha E will be starting the Genji on attack, makes a lot of sense. As Edison flexes back to the Tracer. Maybe considering a switch here. Daydream going to use this Lucio to give them a speed boost to get up to this high ground here. Very unusual map to pick the Lucio on, but I want to use it with the dive here for extra speed. Edison sticks with the Tracer. And right now they're just trying to find an angle to get past Oberon, but it's been impregnable for now. They're going to take the right side approach.
Yeah, dive straight in onto the back. Ion jumping in, forcing back Attune. And they'll dive further. Alpha Yi gonna be coming up that first kill here so far on Blizzard Worlds. They get rid of that pesky Hanzo. Turkins going in, dashes to the back. Undyne gonna die. Great start here for GC Busan as they get ready to go in onto the point. The first tick nearly coming through, and MVP Space completely zoned back away from the point, and they are just gonna get ripped to shreds. Alpha Yi showing up, coming up with multiple kills here with this debut.
This is not possible without the Lucio pick. They just completely circumvented the setup there with the Orisa, or sorry, not Orisa, the Brigitte. Still a hard word to say in casting. I'm just gonna start calling her Brig at some point.
I'm sure that shorthand would be acceptable.
They avoided Oberon and Yaki by just coming around them and collapsing in. That was really well played, very coordinated, and again, not possible without the Lucio speed boost. So very cool strategy, a really crisp execution for GC Busan Wave, and they still need this Brigitte pick to shut down the Genji. The blade is almost ready. Here it comes.
Yeah, speaking of it, he's going to go ahead, draws this one out immediately, and now Yaki's going to be dead. Undyne sliced to death. One more hit would finish off Fuse. Not going to find him, but that's 4 members gone from the side of MVP Space. Let's make it 5. And GC Busan can move forward unhindered completely for the start of this Streets phase. 4 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock still, and making record time.
Yeah, very, very quick push here, and again, the key is, it sounds counterintuitive, but if you can execute it well, you attack the Brigitte first with your Dragon Blade. If you can burst her before she can get the shield bash off, you're not going to be stunned. You're going to have the rest of your blade to do massive damage. And obviously, you've removed one of the tanks on the other side. Good angle here on the self-destruct, too. They have to turn around.
And throws that into the back. Graviton Surge is going to come down, catches a couple members, but immediately Fielder just runs over with that Transcendence and keeps them all alive. And now they're going to be trading back the kills. Edison not even using the pulse bomb. Comes up with a double kill. They will lose out on a Daydream, but Attune falls to the pressure of that Primal Rage out from Ion. Edison dashing in, looking to rip them apart. Will just take that mace to the face as Yaki finishes him off, but otherwise it's a complete slaughter. He's the only one that's going to go down. Ritz is still in the mech, and that is point B, already taken by GC Busan. Now over 5 minutes on the clock to make it through the final stretch.
Really well played attack there as well. They're just so good at finding these angles, and even though MVP Space tried to set that grab up, they were able to circumvent. Fielder was in position. They had the sound barrier to follow up the fight after they survived the grab, having an ult advantage there with the support ultimates. Worked so well for GC Busan. Oberon's trying to sneak his way into an Earth Shatter here. It's going to be, a little bit easier with no Ryan on the other side, but he's got to get into position. And look at how safe GC Busan is positioned away from him right now as Attune has that Pharah switch. This is the best way to get him there, is chunking people down.
Well, Dragon Blade's going to be out from Alpha Yi. Pulse Bomb gets rid of Oberon. He is just going to go ahead, slices through, gets rid of Yaki, looking for a little bit more, but has to sheath the blade right as he gets up into the face of Attune and kites his way back to safety. Bianca going to fall. And now GC Busan is pushing forward, shoving them all the way back into the spawn room as they get ready to complete the map. Absolutely insane time bank still available for them. I don't know if MVP Space can stop this.
They just really, really hung up on the Brigitte pick. Earthshatter comes through, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's too late.
It catches Edison, and then nobody tags the payload.
He also got a pulse right before it happened, so he's pretty happy with it either way. But look, I mean, the Brigitte pick is the right choice for MVP Space. It's the counter to the Genji. It shuts down Dragon Blades in theory. But they stuck with the Reinhardt to try to kind of slowly take this defensive position, but they were just circumvented non-stop. The Lucio pick ended up working really well here for GC Busan Wave. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like this was just simply an outmaneuvering. And when you look at how this map is going to go now on the defense for GC Busan Wave, MVP Space is stronger at defense with the composition they've been running and what they ran on Oasis, so it's a little bit scary to think about what they're going to look like on attack here. They'll have the ability to run the Pharah attack if that's their choice, but the Genji play on the side of MVP Space is going to be a little bit lacking, you have to think. So I'm a little bit worried here as Edison now has the opportunity to switch to Hanzo as well to help win the tank war on point A. The time bank alone is terrifying.
Yes.
I mean, it's staggering. We do not see time banks like this on Blizzard World almost ever in Korea.
I mean, like I said, we've only seen it twice, and the one time that we saw it, it was the the miracle push coming in from Runaway, taking it all the way in overtime from point A to point C. They managed to pull that off, which is as impressive as it gets. But right behind that, a 4-minute 11-second time bank is just monstrous.
It is monstrous. We will see Alpha Yi show the Junkrat. So the question was, with the swap out, would they be able to run the Junkrat peel? The answer is yes. because obviously God Sejong is the main Junkrat player for the squad, but they have this flexibility here. It looks like Attune wants to run the triple tank Hanzo push like you'd see on King's Row. Not too different of a map for point A. Obviously, there's some different aspects to it, but still a strong push. It's going to be difficult for Edison to find damage here if Oberon, yeah, he's going to switch the Reinhardt. If Oberon is in position, so they're going to swing around the left side here. Don't have the mobility, remember, without a Lucio, and they don't have the sustain without the Moira, like we saw yesterday when we saw the Zarya push on Hanamura. So it's just going to be tough, but they have to rely on the Reinhardt to make sure that Edison can't find angles. But as you can see, he's already found one.
Yeah, finds one, but this is the shot there. Almost could have taken out Fuse and shut down the push already. Dyne getting tagged up just a little bit. The Hulk gonna come in, grabs them. Edison actually gonna get finished off by the Zenyatta. So a good pick here from the side of MVP Space as they try to attempt to match the time bank that was established by GC Busan. The first thing nearly coming through, but Alfie over the top finds the two, takes him down with a satchel charge. And then Discord Orb in on him, so he peels back around the corner to keep himself alive. The pocket coming through will heal he and Ion both up. Ritz will get knocked out of that mech. In the meantime, Riptire ready to go, bring it over the top of the gateway, jumps into the back and takes the tune out yet again.
All right, so they're buying a lot of time here. You know, they might actually be able to get this hold. Oberon falls.
Yeah, Undyne going down as well. Fuse still going to be alive, but not really in a position to try to get a res off. So it seems like it's just going to be the one tick for now. MVP Space already going to be behind as it comes down to the time bank pushes.
I want to stress how hard it is to retake a point like that too when the triple tank gets on it. Very impressive that GC Busan is able to make this happen on the back of Alpha E's Riptire mostly there to close it out. But MVP Space has the tools now for a really strong push. In the longer fight, they will easily build the grab surge. Attune will probably be able to build the Dragon Strike, and they can, if they just poke a little bit here, start the fight off with a rally. But if they wait for 2 fights to get that rally, they're going to lose too much time. I think they have to do it in 1 fight. Here's the Shatter. Good angle, but it does not go off the way they wanted it.
It's not going to get anything. The Orisa had the resistance up, so not going to get knocked down. Fielder just waiting, has the Transcendence available, but doesn't feel the need to pop it yet. Attune going to find the kill onto Alpha Yi, and Daydream tries to go into the res, I believe, and Attune cuts him down. Now it's just going to be the Zenyatta, but it's not going to be enough because the Dragon Strike just rips right through Ion, and this is going to be GC Busan Wave giving up point A, but they still bought quite a bit of time already. You can see here, starting off the Street Space push, MVP Space is going to have less time in the bank than there is on the finish for GC.
Absolutely. Edison sticks with the Widow pick here, and they're going to run the Junk Widow on this point. Much more difficult to find value out of that on the Street Space here, so we'll see how long they stick with it. MVP Space will eventually alter their composition once the grab is tossed, very likely, but they don't have to right now. It's a very turtly comp. They can just sit on the payload with this and build another Dragon Strike. They have Reinhardt to help with this, and so it's tougher for Edison to find damage on this Widow. Even though he has line of sight, it's blocked by the shields here. It's blocked by the payload, in fact, in a lot of situations. So as you can see, Edison's struggling to find big damage right now.
Getting a couple shots in, but the shield's going to be up for Yaki, keeping himself nice and safe. We'll just move up onto the high ground. Oh, grapple not going to connect.
It's going to be all right. He'll get up there eventually. All right, here's the Riptire. Once this is gone, MVP Space has a lot more freedom.
Risky ankle. Manages to bring it around the back. They should know exactly where this is, but he drops it in straight in on top of Attune and Fuse. Taking him out. No reaction fast enough.
Now, MVP Space wants to use this combo, the Dragon Strike combo, to contest the point, but sure, they have a decent time bank, but they need to make sure that they use it soon. Like, they don't need to look for the golden opportunity. They need to look for any opportunity, because if it fails, you know, if they fail to get in a position just to hold the ults forever, their time bank is just burning too much. We will see the switch for Yaki to the Widow. They're not going all in on this comp anymore. The rally is gone.
Going to be double sniper. And already getting a pick there. Fielder going to fall. They'll be rezzed back in, and Yaki follows up with another one there as Edison dies. That's a charge from Alpha Yi. Does take out Attune.
The positioning of GC,
not going to get much.
The GC Busan wave positioning is too good for a grab to connect. MVP Space doesn't have any opportunities. Look at the split here. Look at the spread. You're not going to get value off a grab to set up that combo, because GC Busan wave knows that is exactly what MVP Space wants to do. That's why they haven't switched heroes yet outside of Yaki going over to that Widow. They're still gaining distance here. But this is where they wanted to use it to contest. This is the ideal location right in this archway here as they approach point B. This is where they absolutely want to get this to set up. Riptire, shut down.
Taken out. Not going to be finding much there. That's going to be the Dragon Strike coming through. Transcendence used by Fielder, keeping everybody topped up. No one's going to die from this one. Undyne able to find the kill there onto Edison.
Well, the Shatter.
The Shatter rather comes through, knocks down Alfie. They take him out, and now it's just going to be a clean sweep from the side of MVP Space as they roll into point B.
But MVP Space fans are not going to be clapping as it comes through because this is a very weak time bank right now. This is a situation where you're not happy if you're an MVP Space fan because 3 minutes left on the clock now to push all the way around the corner. They continue to hold this composition. They want to use it all the way through. And it's a strong comp on the payload itself. You know, it's a comp where you make the payload itself your haven. You turtle on it and you shove it forward.
Shoving forward, GC Busan, they're going to go aggressive. Alfie looking to build up for a very rapid Dragon Blade, but this aggressive push does cost them the life of Ion, and now Risk's going to get knocked out of that mech. Attune approaching another Dragon Strike, and Bianca is just 28% away from another grab. MVP Space looking to go the distance. They're going to have less than half of the time bank that GC Busan did, but a completion is a completion. It gives them a second lease on life.
It certainly does. Bit of a puzzling choice to run the Genji into the Brigitte Reinhardt Zarya comp, the anti-Genji composition. They still try it. It fails. They get the free push here. They're just trying to make sure they get in with the maximum time possible. This is GC Busan trying to delay.
Bianca grabs ready to go, tosses it in, pins it to the wall. Dragon Strike now coming down. Yaki gonna die, but Edison's one. Ion's two. Looks like nobody else gonna fall for the moment. Transcendence in from Undyne, though, as they try to get the completion. It's nearly a team wipe coming through. Alpha Yi still 30%, 20% away from a Dragon Blade, but he will die. 1 minute and 31 on the clock. MVP Space, they put up a fight. They managed to get it all the way to point C, but now they need to have one hell of a defense.
They certainly do. This is a really rough situation for MVP Space. The comp they ran is a great comp to force completion. When you're fighting for not only completion, but also time bank, it ended up being too slow. They can be very thankful that, for some reason, GC Busan Wave tried to run the dive there on the last bend, switching to the Genji. And that failed super hard because they were trying to run the Genji into the turtled up phalanx style composition that MVP Space was pushing with. So, you know, it's a comp we coined phalanx back in Apex Season 4 because it was used, and really even in the Season 3 finals we were talking about it, because it was used so much by the Overwatch World Cup team during their qualifying match last year for Korea, where you run multiple tanks, you have one consistent DPS, and when you run the Genji into that, you're going to get stunned, you're going to get beaten up by the Reinhardt that can easily track you on the payload, the Zarya that's going to be able to burn you down. You can't do much. So, kind of a puzzling choice, but either way, they're still happy with the time bank advantage you just mentioned. We will see the exact same defensive setup here, which they had more success with against MVP Space already. And MVP not going to change it up. This needs to be a one and done pretty much. They're only going to have realistically 2 pushes for this to build ult. So this needs to be way more efficient than last time. If Alpha Yi gets another really good Riptire, I don't think that MVP Space walks away with point A.
Going to be pushing up the left-hand side, right side from the defender's perspective. Alpha Yi just waiting here, has that satchel charge, and the trap laid down, waiting for an opportunity. No one's going to trigger it though, so might just have to burn it and get ready to throw out another.
Yep.
In onto the point, Oberon pushing forward, shields up, but he's down to half HP. Pocket comes through as they cheat in underneath the ledge.
Okay, this is an opportunity for Attune to get some real damage done. He's got the armor as well. Really nice angle for the Hanzo here.
Attacking onto Daydream, but not going to be getting the finish about halfway to that first tick as the damage boost comes through. D.Va going to be jumping forward, Storm Arrow's down.
Here's the Riptire though.
Riptire coming in over the top. Can Alpha Yi find a massive pop? Finds the Zenyatta, takes down Undyne. See if Fuse is going to be able to, if he's going to be able to get a res off. In the meantime, first tick does come through. Still going upward now, 45%, still climbing. Hit in, Alpha Yi gonna die. Attune lining up the shots, looking for a little bit more as he tries to get rid of Fielder. Storm Arrow's in, not gonna find it, and the res does get channeled, but Alpha Yi might just die immediately. Yes, he does. Attune lines up the arrows, takes him out, but Edison comes in with a snipe, but it might not matter because they are still pushing in. They get the cap in the end, and now they can start moving up this payload.
Transcendence not going to be used here by Fielder. They want to regroup to stop this from being a really crazy runaway-esque overtime push. The key in that push was that MVP Space got Attune onto the high ground, and this slow, clunky, immobile comp they were able to push GC Busan Wave off of the high ground, and then Hanzo's able to do massive damage there. That's what this comp is designed to do, is force Hanzo to a place where he can just trade up because he's so well protected, and he even got the high ground there. So this is a tough comp to break. Remember, this Turley style is going to do well in overtime because it's so difficult to break. It's not time efficient, but that's not important here. It's just how much distance you can gain.
I mean, that and all the tools that they have available, that's going to be one of them being used as Earthshatter into the Graviton Surge, Dragon Strike, getting ready to roll through, but honestly, a bit of a waste. Could have held on to both of those ultimates, I feel, after they got the Shatter off, but MVP Space maybe cracking a little bit under this overtime pressure.
You're definitely right about that.
A bit willy-nilly. They still have a Transcendent Zone.
You're absolutely right. That could have been saved, but it's going to build quickly, and they've still got this momentum now. The Riptire is going to be the next threat they have to deal with here. Here it comes.
Speaking of it, driving it straight in, but the shields are there for the Zarya. Bianca gonna go up the full charge, and he can just rip Ritz apart. Transcendence forced out from Fielder. That's gonna be the self-destruct up into the air from Ritz as he looks for a pick. Not gonna find it, but they zone off the point well enough for long enough to get that finish. The OT meter just plummeting, but MVP Space can probably feel pretty good about that push.
This could still go either way. With a 4-minute plus time bank, remember how quickly GC Busan was able to dominate with their composition on attack. So, as you say, MVP Space got more than they could have ever hoped for, and they were able to make that Hanzo attack work very well on point A. But this is not over by any means yet, and in fact, I still think GC Busan Wave starts this final push with an advantage. But let's see where the payload falls here, as the initial attack with the Lucio was very successful on point A. They're able to circumvent the turtley Hanzo DPS comp last time, just run around these shields of the Reinhardt there, and obviously the Vegeta as well, and just kind of circumvent the defensive setup, then dive through with the Genji pick. It was really well coordinated. So this time MVP Space, you would think, should be ready for that. It was a 1-2 punch where they sneaked around the backside and then dove through all at once. It was a kind of a Lucio exclusive, as I was saying before. It's not going to work without that extra speed, that extra mobility. Showing the Roadhog for now. I don't know if this will be real or not. This is a very sustainable comp with the Moira that they're showing, and it looks like it is real. Very difficult to burn through this with a Widowmaker and even with a Hanzo. Not the speed boost, but the extra healing from Moira and the ult advantage that's going to generate.
All right, GC Busan, 4 minutes on the clock. Just have to go basically right in front of point B in order to get this win and tie things up against MVP Space.
Yaki's in trouble, caught out here.
They're gonna go low, but so is Oberon. He'll get taken down. Alfie manages to come up with the kill. Now Edison, feeling pretty comfortable, can push forward and start just laying these arrows into the tanks and trying to bust them out. Romero's in. Bianca gonna go down out of the mech. Katoon finished off. Oberon falling as well. MVP Space's defense is just crumbling. GC Busan running all over them, making this look like it's gonna be a 1-1 scoreline.
Definitely looking that way. GC Busan totally controlling this. You know, a squad of rookies that have so much online experience. It's their first time under this much pressure against veterans. All 6 players in MVP Space, even Apex veterans. Not a single player on that squad has not played since the beginning of Korean Overwatch. And they are killing it here. Their strategies have been unique, and their execution has been crisp. It's really fun to watch. You know, this Roadhog forcing the Hanzo onto the point, forcing that extra damage. MVP Space was just simply not ready. I like the Pharah response, though, because this doesn't have much range damage outside of the Hanzo, so difficult to knock the Pharah out of the sky.
Yaki going to be trying his best to get them away from this payload. Shots coming through. Yaki going to take one. Dragon Strikes out from Edison, but he's not going to find anything for it. Instead, will get taken out, but both healers on the side of MVP Space get ripped apart. Undyne and Fuse both going down. Ion Shields getting ready to break. Looking for the hits there onto Oberon. With the help of Fritz, they will be able to take him down. And only a couple more attempts really going to be here from the side of MVP. They have ultimates on the way. They might have to dump all of them just to win a fight.
This comp is so sustainable, and you always end up with ult advantages when you're just running the Moira here. You basically is always going to have extra heals.
Dear. Yaki trying to use the barrage, but the defense matrix is right there. Alpha E using the whole hog, not going to be getting any kills. Zone them back. Dragon Strike used from Mattoon. All the way from the spawn room, just trying to catch them off guard, but I don't know if it's going to find much. Hook in. Alpha Yi comes in from behind, gets rid of Undyne. They're pushed away from the cart, but it's still a minute and 45 left here as they get ready to roll into the station. Somebody's got to tag in.
It's going to be close. They need to get on it right now.
Nobody's on it yet. It's going to be Fuse going down. Bianca dead. They do halt it here as Oberon dives through. Get the kill in onto Ion. Winston so dangerously low though. 1.95 meters. No one can get there. And we are going to tie things up. GC Busan winning on Blizzard World.
You wrap the Moira and the Lucio, so you get the Coalescence, you have the Sound Barrier that's building quickly, you have so much AoE healing. The Roadhog can actually aggressively position itself, as we saw, Roadhog being very, very far forward, looking for hooks and grab potential. Threatening the supports was always what the Roadhog D.Va duo was doing, and you would just have the ability as D.Va to fly back to the safety of the Lucio Moira, get healed up, and to do it over and over again every time your rocket boost is on cooldown. And then the Roadhog could just take a breather and walk back. So you have that on top of the Moira and the Lucio healing. It's a comp that basically says, I have more time than you. It doesn't matter how long it takes. We're going to force our way on this. We're going to get winning trades. We're going to get the ult advantage. And that plus the Lucio comp we saw on point A to attack and circumvent the Reinhardt defense was really well executed. So this Blizzard World map pick, very, very intelligent for GC Busan Wave. And we were questioning what we were going to see, but I think we saw in a lot of ways some innovation here out of this squad as to how to attack point A. So exciting stuff from this new squad. It's a tied series, and MVP Space didn't look weak on that map either. They just, I think, hadn't quite run into that style of play before.
Yeah, well, good news, ladies and gentlemen. We have our first series of Season 2. It's not going to be a 4-0 this time around, so GC Busan, the rookies, bringing out the Blizzard World pick. We've only seen it twice so far in Contenders, both times by Runaway. First time working out well, second time not so much, but for these guys, the first time also a success. But now, we get ready to move over onto Assault, and that is going to be the map selection here for MVP Space. Ball's in their court. Where do we think they're going to go?
It feels like a Hanamura to me, based on how much success we see with the multi-tank A-point attacks with the Zarya, the Reinhardt, right, the Brigida. They seem to really be about that composition with the Hanzo there, and that's kind of what they've been latching onto, I feel, more than anything else. So it's not great on the defense, obviously. You can use it on A, but you have to switch up on B. But it starts to feel like that's maybe the way you want to do it. You can do it on Horizon as well. Volskaya, a little bit tougher to actually make that work because the defending team has the high ground to operate around.